Hello everyone and welcome to another card video. Today we're using Halloween pumpkins, Fang-tastic Halloween, some sentiment strips from MFT, and the stitched rectangles die by Your Next Stamp. So we're doing the color challenge number 75. Here's a look of the sketch and the color combo. Of course, I'm going with the color combo. I'm taking the second to largest die from the stitched rectangles die and cutting a piece of Tim Holtz watercolor cardstock. I'm measuring about a ½ inch from the edge of the panel here, just making a mark so that I can mask a rectangle on my project. I'm going to do some ink blending. So I'm using this masking paper to make a rectangle. And this masking paper is really great. It's not as sticky, like it's not great for masking images, and it's not full sticky. It's only about half sticky on the back, but it's waxy, and when you're doing ink blending, it's really great to like glide the blender on, if you guys understand. So I'm making another mark about an inch from the bottom just to make ground and sky, a difference between ground and sky. I'm taking Hickory Smoke Distress ink, okay? Hickory Smoke is a gray color in the Distress ink line, and it really does have a nice variation of color when you use it. So you can use one ink color and get all those little variations of gray. It builds nicely. But on the bottom here, to stick with the color combo, I'm using Twisted Citron. And this thing did not want to stick on there. It did not want to stick on the ink. Yes, that's kind of Dr. Seuss sounding, but I made that sucker stick. The Twisted Citron doesn't build as nicely as the Hickory Smoke, so I'm going in with also some Mowed lawn, just to get a little bit more variation in color, just to deepen, just to put some depth in the background there. All I did was make it darker to lighter in the center. Be very careful when you peel off the masking paper from your project because it likes to tear. No matter what you use, you have to go slow and careful. So I've got Your Next Stamp Black Olive ink, and I'm stamping my first pumpkin. This is from Halloween Pumpkins by Your Next Stamp. And I'm gonna put a face on it. It has a whole lot of faces to choose from. And I'm stamping it twice because I want it to be nice and thick, dark black. And then I'm going to mask it. I've stamped the pumpkins with Inkadinkado on Inkadinkado masking paper. And we're going to mask the pumpkins so that I can create like a cluster of pumpkins for my image. So that's the first one. And here I go in with the second or medium-sized pumpkin. We're going to add a face. I stamped it twice so that it was nice and thick black lines. And the Big Daddy pumpkin. So once I get all of my stuff masked and inked and stamped, we're going to go in with these little images that are like the leaf and the stem. And I kind of was trying to do it a little differently. I saw that everyone was using them so that the bottom of the stem was sticking out from the top of the pumpkin. So I did it like as if it were growing out from the side. And it looks a little weird. Like, I feel like I should have just done it like everyone else did it, but I was trying to change it up and be a little different, and it kind of looks weird, but whatever. So it's my way, my version of the pumpkin. I'm just coloring with my Copic markers, just some YRs for the pumpkin itself. And I'm doing, to go along with the picture and the color combo, I'm adding a little bit of like a deep burgundy into the leaf. and then an E, like the orangey E's for the stem of the pumpkin itself. And I colored them all the same, so you don't need to watch me color these 3 boring pumpkins. And then I cut it out with my Scan and Cut. We're going to stamp the sentiment, and I had a heck of a time with this sentiment, okay? So I used VersaFine Onyx black ink, and there must have been some schmutz on my stamp, so I tried it again, and then it didn't stamp perfectly, so I ended up stamping this thing like 3 times. So here I am trying to do it the second time. It just didn't, it looked a little like not crisp. So here we go for number 3. I don't use orange cardstock all that much, so I didn't feel like it was such a terrible thing. But here, number 3 was perfect. And we're going to use this MFT, I think it's stitched sentiment dies, to cut it out. This just helps me not have it all wonky and weird. So I put some black craft foam on top of that Tim Holtz watercolor paper to pop it up. And then I have some foam tape on the pumpkins and the sentiment itself. And that's it. That is my card for your next stamp challenge number 75. If you still have time to come play with us, visit the Your Next Stamp blog and play. I hope you enjoyed it.
How do you like the pontoon boat?